Monday Pashas B'chukois in Eretz Yisrael Bahar in Chutz La'aretz. In the Choyves Halvavos that we're learning, we're entering the second half of the topic we're discussing for the past half a year. Rasha v'toivloi. Watching someone that's doing all the wrong things and is being successful. Apparently, the person is being very successful. And here in Pashas B'chukois, it says that if you keep Torah and mitzvahs, if you're the good one, the goody-goody, then you'll have everything that you need. You'll geshmeichem be'itam, you'll have food and whatever it is. And the ones that don't keep Torah and mitzvahs are going to be suffering. And a person that's watching the Rasha being successful, it bothers. Like, how could that be? Now, it's interesting. Sometimes the question Rasha v'toivloi hurts much more than the question of Tzadik v'raloi. I'll explain. When people are beginners, so they want to be good. Now, it doesn't have to be that they're suffering. It could be they're doing fine, they're trying, they're not going through pain or whatever it is. But they're seeing that the guy that's speaking in Shul by Kaddish, the guy that's doing all the wrong things, he is being manadav shalashudas for some reason. He has some extra cash. Now, they don't really care, the big tzaddik, what's happening to that tzaddik. That's a shaila. I don't know. Let the tzaddik figure it out. Sometimes the person feels, I don't care. Let him do good. I don't care so much. But why in our group of my age, let's go there. If I look at the kids either in yeshiva or the Yingalaita, right now I'm in shul. I'm regular. The person feels, I wouldn't say on myself I'm a tzaddik. I don't know if it's toivloi, I don't know if it's ra'aloi, I don't know, I have no questions. But watching and observing that guy that's telling you, don't come with me. And it's a good life, I don't know. It's a good life, you'll make millions. And we watch it from up close. Maybe the word Rasha sounds a bit scary. So maybe for some people you have to polish the word. You shouldn't call it Rasha. But it's closer to home a lot of times than the question of Tzadik v'raloi. Because if a person looks a little bit on himself and around, say, oh, maybe because I'm not a Tzadik. But that guy, I see he's not doing well. I don't see him in shul in the morning. On Shabbos, I see when he shows up. And the guy has a lot of money. He's having a good time, and he's excited, and he's happy, and he's always the one throwing the party. And it bothers beginners, and they ask the shaila, why shouldn't I be like that guy?
Sometimes, in other words, you might say, maybe he has another schus, but sometimes it's the thing itself. You know he steals money, and in that itself...
In the area where he's doing the things that he's not supposed to be doing, that's where he's being successful. So, let's see what the Choyves Halvavos. The Choyves Halvavos gives a few answers. The Choyves Halvavos says, "Aval toivus hakel yisborach ala Rasha." When you see that Hashem is pouring, there's abundance coming upon the Rasha, it could be because of a mitzvah. That's the first answer. It could be because he has a mitzvah and Hashem wants to give him the schar, because he's not worthy to be able to get the schar in the next world. That's what the pasuk says. That means the reason why the Choyves Halvavos is using that as the first answer, is quoting at the first, is because it's a pasuk in the Torah. You don't have to be very big Talmid Chacham. And the Targum says that the Hashem would give people all the schar in this world. So they're getting the schar in this world, and we believe and we know that the tzaddik and any person that's roy, even a little bit, Hashem wants to save and give the person the schar. And the olam habo, where the person could get the schar in a much better oifen, and they're roy for it. That's one answer. Another answer, v'yesheti al derech hapikoden etzli. Very interesting. Sometimes the schar is a pikodon. It means it's only meanwhile Hashem is keeping the money in his bank account. Ad sheyiten le'yakel yisborach ben Tzadik. It's only because the guy needs to have money in his bank account, because Hashem knows that he will have a child that's a tzaddik, and that tzaddik should have all the needs. So that's why the parents are being successful. And there's a pasuk in Koheles, Shlomo Melech says that he's gathering all the money, so someone else should have done more from all the money. When a person has pleasure, the pleasure, sometimes people have pleasure when they are gathering the money because they feel they're very dreaming of the good. But a lot of times they don't really reach that point. By the time they could enjoy the money, they're not around anymore. There are people that invest in real estate and they bought up properties and they're being successful. But by the time they're really going to be able to take the revochim, they're not going to be here. So it's a pasuk. It says Yochin in another pasuk in Iyov. Yochin. Sometimes people prepare v'tzadik yilbash, and the tzaddik would take the clothing, would wear the clothing. You see all the time people building houses and not getting to move in. Someone else just moves in. You could just watch it, how they're busy choosing the kitchen and choosing the colors and choosing and fighting. And when they're finished, sometimes they're still alive, but something happened and they have to sell it, and someone just moves in without the whole around and around. Hashem knew which colors he likes, so he got that guy to get these colors, and it's just so. In this answer, the Chavis always gives there's a hidden part. We always have to explain. Sometimes it's the easiest to explain to people. You watch, you're only seeing the same way by Tzadik V'Rala. You're seeing the beginning of the story. How could you ask questions? Wait a little bit. Let's see what happens in the end. I don't know, but so many times it's so clear that you see that it's just fascinating. With apartments, you could just mamash watch it, and different people are mashkia and people put in so much effort, and it's really for someone else. So for someone else to enjoy it. Another reason, now, sometimes, this is a scary one, the Chavis always mentioned it in the beginning, sometimes the money or the pleasure or whatever it is the reason that puts the person to the ground, that really puts them in trouble. He mentions in this forum that explained the Chavis always mentioned like Koirach, the Oisha from Koirach. If he wouldn't have had it, he would have been well off. Now, there are people that because they had a lot of money, they fell into addictions, and that was the end of their life. And it's so sad. Everything finished. If they wouldn't have had the money, then they would have never had that nisoyim, because you have to watch. But if you have the money, so why not? All addictions. It's so sad, and the end was sour, and you look in the end of this, and it's so scary and so painful to even elaborate because it's so close to home. so many of these stories. So such a case, really, it was an oynish. It was mamash an oynish. They have written from Reb Chaim Kanievsky about the aliyah from the Teuchacha, that it's a zgula. This week's parsha, B'chukoyse and Kisovit is menhogim. Who gets that aliyah? Where you read the Teuchacha. Someone asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky if you have to be makpid. So he said he thinks you have to be makpid because he knows someone that he read the Teuchacha, he got the aliyah, and not long afterwards, his father, that person's father was nifta, and he got a very, very big Yerusha. And he left learning and he got into the business world. So it hit him hard. He got rich. He says, I watched it happening to someone. The getting rich, it's important to really discuss it. It's not only when the end is so bitter. Even when someone, Baruch Hashem, is doing well, but it took the person down from the level they were. There's a certain geschmack, a certain pleasure when simple people, simple chasanas, simple people, they enjoy life. Everything is geschmack. And when a person gets tied up, he's not the same person anymore. It's so sad. Now, he sometimes doesn't realize it, and maybe there are people around him, some of them, that also don't realize it. But anybody with an ounce of more seichel sees, what did he have from it? He's fighting all day with others. He thinks he's doing business. But it's not a life. It's not alive. Then he tries this and he tries that and he travels around. It didn't do good. It didn't do good to his life. And so what's the question? What's pshat that he has? So that where's the toivloi? Who told you that it's toivloi? Now, when we learned the topic of Tzadik v'Raloi, we discussed the whole time. It's not really Ra. It's the best thing for him. The nisyonis that he's having is bringing him close to Hashem, and in the end he's going to see the toiva and all that. But by Rasha v'Toivloi, people are not used to looking into the picture deeper and saying it wasn't v'Toivloi. You don't have to have such deep emunah to chap. A person has to be able to look beneath the surface. Let's say you can't just look how it looks from the outside, and sometimes it's simple, mamish simple, to see that it's not toivloi. That's another reason. Ve'efsher. Then you have another ve'efsher sheti. It could be lahar chabur yis'al aloi. Hashem is waiting. Erech hapayim. One of the hanogas from Hashem is even when a person is doing the wrong thing, Hashem has savlonis. Hashem has patience, and Hashem knows that one day this person will be a tzaddik, and it could be that a person already now, Hashem is not taking away the wealth or any other success from the person, because Hashem is seeing the future, and the future is that this person is going to do tshuva. That's what the Chavis Avova says. Like Menashe. Menashe was the famous melech, the king that was a huge Baal Aveda. Now the Chavis Avova is bothered. Why was he a king? Forget about money. Why was he in such a position that he was doing well? The answer is because he had a very big role. He taught us that a person that's down in the dumps and he worshipped every Avodah Zarah that was, and then he did tshuva. He taught us that we could do tshuva. So he has the money because Hashem sees the future, and he himself is a roi for it because of his osid. Very interesting. It's an idea, it's a concept that we didn't have by Tzadik v'Raloi. It's not the sometimes you have because of the parents, because Hashem pays back for the children. He says, "Naro yisi gam zakanti v'lo yisi tzadik nezer v'zarim avakash locha." The Hashem pays back for the children of the tzaddik. So sometimes this is a schar that this person is not worthy of the schar, but because of the grandparents or what, so that's why the person has success. Now this is a whole list of reasons, but really, if we zoom out, it means that there's always a reason that we could think of that's not so far fetched. So when a person asks the questions of Rasha v'Toivloi, so Chavis Avov is saying, I don't know, the Lashon is like ve'efshe. It could be this, it could be that. There's so many reasons that I have psukim. Chavis Avov says, let's look in the psukim. I could find you 5-6 reasons that it says clearly that might be the reason. And if that's the case, so I don't have to go thinking so much because I know it has a reason. Now, the common denominator. That means if we zoom out, a person knows that there's very simple answers, but I don't know the answer. That means I don't know which mitzvah that person did 20 years ago, or who the grandparents are, and I definitely don't know what the future is. That one day he's going to be a tzaddik, you're trying to tell me? It could be, I don't know. So it's not something that I could calculate and know that that's the reason. So what's a yid supposed to do when they're bothered? They're emotionally bothered. It hurts them. They're trying, they're struggling, and they're the ones that are always not managing, and that person, for some reason, it's just working out. The answer is that a person learns Chavis Levavos. He sees all these answers. He doesn't need to know to match it up. It's not like they give for homework. Now you draw the line. Which one of the 6 is the right neighbor, and which one is the one that the classmate? I don't know. Once you learn it and you see it makes sense, and it's a psukim, so they just answer all the questions, and it also explains the imbuchokoset telechu. Because if you look into the Pasi, all these psukim, it's all because of mitzvahs. It means it's because of a mitzvah that the person did. It's because of the mitzvah that the person is going to do. It's because of a mitzvah that the person did once upon it, that his parents did, or it's not tov. It means if we look at all the answers, it's you don't have to even explain. It makes sense that there's not even a yotzim and a klal. It just fits perfectly with the pasuk. But a person knows that he can't know. A person knows that I don't know the future. I don't have the tools to be able to figure it out. Now, it's something that people struggle with. So I want to explain it with this fasemis from this week's parsha, that it could give deeper understanding what a person is doing when they don't understand. It's very important to know this. When a person is watching a scene and it bothers them and it hurts them, it hurts them. Sometimes it can be very close to home. Brother-in-law or sister-in-law, it starts this friction, and a person is very, very hurt that they're looking to buy an apartment for the last 20 years, and they're not managing. It's the simple zachen that they need, and they're not managing. And the other one is doing everything wrong, and just segate. They have what they need. It hurts. It means we have to know it's emotional. It hurts. Now, what is the person supposed to think? I don't know cheshbon shemaim. We're very used to that. You don't need a whole shir of chavis alvavos to know that the answer is I don't know cheshbon shemaim. So chavis alvavos elaborates it. He says what could be the cheshbon shemaim, but the Sasemis says an amazing insight. It really helps. He says in B'chukoisei Telechu is the parsha where Hashem teaches us that if a person keeps Torah mitzvahs, a person will have gashmius, will have whatever they need, abundance, whatever you need. Now, a person that feels, I'm trying so hard. I'm trying to fix this. I'm trying to do better in different areas in Avodas Hashem. I don't see it happening. And he's bothered, and the other guy does have. So we all know Rashi says in B'chukoisei Telechu that Telechu means Shetiyu Amelim B'Torah, which Rashi brings a medrash which is bothered. The Tosefta, the Teres Kahanim is bothered. What does it mean? You will walk through the Torah. Telechu is walking, halicha. If you learn, it should have said if you learn the Torah or if you keep the Torah. Why does it telechu? So Rashi is bothered with this question, and Rashi says that telechu could mean that a person not only learns the Torah or tries to understand the main concepts, just they are, I say, omol, toil, right? Is what they use. That means they sweat. They put their whole nefesh, the whole mind in to really, like when you're in yeshiva and you don't understand and you try to understand and you work hard. Really, this Rashi is giving us a different pshat to the pasuk, that it's not only about doing mitzvahs. You need to do something a bit more than that. You have to really put yourself into it totally, and that's why the pasuk is using this language. Go into that world, enter the world of Torah, which you really try your hardest to understand. Zogtus Vasemis, that the concept of Omel B'Torah in this pasuk, which Rashi means, is specifically when someone be'emes doesn't understand, because it says chukoisai, and chuchuka is always the word that's used for parts of Torah that's not understood, like Pora Aduma is a choik. It's a, I don't know what's the title of that word. Choik, that means it's a rule Hashem said like that, you can't understand it. Pora Aduma, that's what Hashem said. So what does it mean that a person is miyageya themselves? They work hard in something that they don't understand. He says it means that a person, it's choviv be'enov. They feel close. It's Hashem's word, Hashem's Torah, and I want to try. I want to be busy with this, even if I won't get to the bottom of it. I enjoy it. We'll explain it in our language to our level. Sometimes people enjoy discussing something. They don't get to anywhere. So let me hear, what was the story again? When it's something that really touches the essence of the person, a deep zach, person really just enjoys to talk about it. Sometimes the one that doesn't enjoy says, stop talking about it so much. But what's the point? He has an oinik from just... So the Sasema says that the Zohar Kodesh were now with like Boima, with Reb Shimon. Any time the Zohar Kodesh speaks about the schus that Yidden have to learn Torah, he says, Lishtadel boy Raisa. Many, many times. Lishtadel boy Raisa means that you're doing with the Torah. It's like a dough. Lav bedafka that you're right now getting to the bottom of it. That's not the point. The point is that the person is getting dovak to Hashem by talking about it. He loves to talk about it because it's Hashem's Torah. He even mentions the Zohar. The Zohar says that even if a person in Parshas Kedoshim, he doesn't bring the Lashon from the Zohar. Here in the orders they bring it, that if a person says the words from Torah and a person is trying to learn Torah and they don't have someone to teach them the Torah, and he loves Hashem so much, so he just says the words and he keeps on making tons of mistakes. He's just making mistakes. So Hashem takes these words and hugs the words and he plants and Ilonis grow from these. That's what Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said, because Hashem looks at it that you want to be close to me. If you want to be close to me, then you got it. Even if you didn't have the whole lumdus and all that, you're the real person. You're becoming close to Hashem through the Torah. That's what Hashem wants. The Torah should be a tool to bring the person closer to Hashem. The Maral says that's why the Broch and Bichas HaTorah is Lasik B'divrei Torah. Lasik B'divrei Torah means that a person is oisik in it. He's doing. Sometimes you ask a person, okay, so I asked you last week if you could arrange that to me. What ended up happening? He says, okay, don't worry. I'm busy. I'm doing. Ich tue in them. He says, yeah, but something happened? Not yet, but I spoke to the Askonim. They're supposed to get back to me. Torah, if a person has the right gisha, the right approach to Torah, he says, I don't have to understand everything. I have to sit there and enjoy knowing that I'm learning that Hashem's Torah. I want to be close to Hashem. Then the person will get close to Hashem. But here is where the Sfasemis comes in. Hashem says that that's when Hashem rewards the person. It does the hemshach. If that's your approach to Torah, then Hashem is going to give you Mozen Gam Bo'olam Hazeh. He says usually the real schar for Torah is not in this world. But the pasuk is telling you a secret. If you're going to be in this world and you're going to just know that you want to be close to Hashem, then you're going to get your Mozen also in Olam Hazeh. For doing this specific approach, you're going to be miyagei yourself, even though you don't understand. So Sfasemis is saying an amazing thing when it comes to understanding what's happening. And this is something that's not only negaya for learning Gemara. We're coming back to our topic of understanding what's happening in this world. I'll be magdim it with a word of the Rav Shetzirov. The Yorzer was just last week. The Rav Shetzirov said like this: when Mein Shem wanted to come down to the world, they showed me written on the wall all beautiful Mamor Chazal about me. Va'avorcho va'gadla shmecho. You're going to be big. You're going to be successful. You're going to be amazing. B'shvili nivro olam. And all the schar, amazing. On the other wall, it said a bunch of Mamor Chazal that you should know you're never going to be Yoitze. And you should always know the Gehenim is Psuch or Mitachtov. And any Aveda that you do, you're going to be messed up. And then I was like, so I understand. So what happens? They said, okay, we're sending in a shaman down to this world. You figure it out. That he said, that's what I went through. That's what I experienced before. A person comes down to this world. A person sees many scenes. You're watching a scene. And that scene has a bunch of questions. It's a riddle. It's scary a lot of times, especially when a person watches. So we spoke a lot about suffering, but when a person is watching the other half, Why doesn't Hashem kill that big, huge Rasha? If he's such a Rasha and he's doing so much damage to the world, why don't we see that he's just drops dead? And it's not happening. And again, and again, and they're being successful. And you're watching many, many situations. A person that's watching such matzovim, and they're miyageya themselves. There's a certain yegiya. Yegiya means that there's a lot of work in the nefesh to be miyashif this situation. I'm using too many Hebrew words, too many Lashon Kodesh words. I'm trying to bring out a concept. The same way a person that's learning Gemara finds, it says in one Gemara that this is the halacha, and then I find in a different Gemara the opposite. So now what do we do? And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. Maybe that's the case. No, that's wrong. It's wrong. It says that it's not like that. When a person is at it, even before he reaches the answer, what are you doing? How do you call this status? What you're doing right now? You're working hard. You're trying. It's an effort, a deep effort to try to explain Torah Hashem. Try to explain Torah Hashem, not because you're trying to say a shir, and not because you're going to get rewarded if you bring the right answer. Just you love the Torah, and if you love the Torah, you want to know what's the secret behind it. What's the secret behind it? It must be something beautiful, something amazing that's lying there that I don't know, that I didn't understand yet. When a person watches a scene which makes no sense, then the heart, a lot of times, the nefesh of the person, the nefesh is bothered with a question. Very bothered. The person is very, very hurt. How could it be? I was sure this is it. This was a child that I davened for. This is the child that, what do you mean? That was my reward for all my Torah and Tefillah. This child? How could it be? It hurts. It's a kasha in Torah. That's what it is. It's a kasha in Torah. Now, if a person is trying to be menachem his nefesh, it's like we have a certain nichom avelim that the person has. That, if a person has he tries hard to make it work. Now you don't have to know the answer. That's the chap. You don't have to know the answer in order to get it. The pasuk is saying, that's what I'm saying. The pasuk is saying, if you are miyageya, if you try, why are you trying? Because you're not only trying to comfort yourself. Usually people enter the world, why do I need chizik? I need chizik because I'm falling apart. I need chizik because I need chizik. No, you shouldn't look at it that way. You should have a different approach. You should have an approach. I learned the Parshas B'chukoisai. And the Parshas B'chukoisai, it says that if I'm going to be trying, I'm going to see how Hashem is taking care of me. For some reason, it's not happening. I'm trying to understand the Torah, not because I want to be right, or I need to figure everything out. I just know that there must be an answer. There must be an answer, and I want to understand the Eibusher's Drachim because I want to learn the Torah, because I want to be close to him. When a person is busy doing that, they're in the middle of the turmoil. They're busy doing that. That's what the Sfasem calls in B'chukoisei Telechu, and that's what he calls. You get schar for that yigiyah.
So in this sugya of Rasha v'Tovloi, on one hand the person says, I can never know, there's so many different ways Nistar Dach Hashem. But if he looks at the Chavos Halvavos and he learns the different things, that's being...
If a person that's learning...
Sure.
And a person is learning Chavos Halvavos and is saying this could be the reason, this could be the reason, and it comforts him. He says, it makes sense, it's a posik. Things start making sense, and then they bring Mishalom to the pasuk and all that. So what you're doing is, you are explaining the Torah so beautiful. Now, the last Sforim that people didn't understand the Sforim, right now here in front of us we have the Sfasemis. It was written Bekitzer, and a lot of people didn't have the right tools to be able to understand it. So a person goes and he works in it. This set was over 20 years. The young man worked on it, and he made a beautiful, beautiful sasemis. Now he brings all the midrashim and he writes where the sasemis talks about it, where he elaborates. So now we can understand it. So a person that does that, the person made a kiddush Hashem. It means people would say sasemis. I don't know. It's a hard sefer. It can't really get chizik. Like when people would say, "What's a life-changing sefer?" So they would say, "Oh, that beautiful sefer." A sasemis, I don't know if it's life-changing. I don't know. I don't understand it. But then, if it's given to you like that, and you can understand it, and every time you learn a piece, you could get amazed, and it turned into a sefer that could be life-changing because it's accessible, tangible. I mean, you could really relate to it. It's brought down to the person. The person could relate, could find themselves in the sefer, could figure out the answers. That's called a Kiddush Hashem, and the Svasemis is Makar Tov for such a person. You just took the sefer and you put Tzitzim Aprocha, means you mechabed the sefer. The Torah, it's a mashal for the Torah. It's also an imshal. It's a mashal for the Torah. The Torah, it says psukim in the Torah that are so beautiful, and then a person says, "Yeah, but I don't see it to be life changing because I have no idea what it says there. Maybe it's Kabbalah, I don't know. But I don't know. In my life, doesn't add up." That's what the person feels. But then, when the person is doing this, like you just mentioned, the person is putting the pieces of the puzzle. The person is saying, it could be this, it could be that. There's an answer. I have an answer for this, I have an answer for that. And then it's so beautiful. Then that person is getting a schar, a high alma in this world, for doing that, even though I don't know everything, but without knowing everything, I see that it makes sense. I was just not long ago I was sitting at a gathering. There was Yisoimim, fresh Yisoimim, young Yisoimim. They lost a parent. And there was a small little gathering, the family members, and they were asking questions, the Yisoimim. How could it be? And what happened to all our tefillas? They went through a ton of trauma and everything. And there was a fellow there that was answering them, trying to answer the questions. After the meeting finished, someone asked the person that was dealing with this Yisoimim, "Do you think they chop the answers? You think they're old enough, that smart, that they could? It was deep." He said, "I don't know if they got all the answers, but they definitely saw that there is answers. There are answers." He saw how the person is saying it with his livus, and they got part of it, so they saw there's answers. When a person feels, so that itself calms the person down. It helps the nefesh. Now, this concept is when a person is learning Torah, they don't know all the answers. When a person's learning the sugi of Tzadik v'ral Rasha v'toivlai, it doesn't mean a person knows all the answers. Back to the beginning where the questions is, the Moshe Rabbeinu asked, Yirmiyah Anovi asked, how could it be? It stays a question because a person doesn't know specifically in this case that he's bothered what the answer is. It wasn't meant that every person should have all the answers. But when a person sees the Chayvus Alvavis, there's the perfect balance that a person knows there's a cheshbon that it makes sense. It just makes sense. Everything works out. Now, what is the specific answer in this case? I don't know what the exact answer is. I don't know. But I do see that things make sense. And when a person does that, then a person will see schar. That's what the Sasemis is saying. A person will see schar just for doing that. He'll make a Kiddush Hashem. He adds something amazing. There's a famous Gemara, Masechtas Nedorim, that why did the Yidden go in Golus? Shleborchu b'Torah tchila. They didn't say Birchas HaTorah properly. They were missing Birchas HaTorah. The Sasem is the Kasha itself. You could jump. The Sasem says, "What's Birchas HaTorah?" Birchas HaTorah means thanking Hashem, saying Pashat thank you. Akaras HaTorah. I can't thank you enough for giving me the Torah. The Sasem says, when you understand the Torah, when you really get the deepness and everything, it's not possible they didn't thank Hashem. That's what he says. You can't. Is he normal? It is a pleasure. It's so deep, and it's so exciting. How could it be levircha b'Torah tchila? It's not possible. Even the people from the Korban, not possible. He says, you know what it means? It means they didn't thank Hashem for the Torah when they were mid-crisis. That's what he says. Levircha b'Torah tchila. When they were when they didn't have yet the geschmack, when there was no geschmack. Thank you Hashem for lasik b'divrei Torah. I can't thank you enough for that you gave me the Torah, but what do I have from the Torah right now? So what's the answer? Chodach nish. Now you don't have the oinig and the simcha. A person can't. It really touches a beautiful nakuda. A person can make a bracha because Met Hashem, they will have, Hashem will help them. One day they're going to have a dira, so they're making a shachiyonu. You can't do that. You have to have it in front of you. What's taka the pshat? How could a person thank on Torah before he has the Torah, before he has the geschmack? A bracha is supposed to be a bracha that you thank on something that you hold in your hand, the peri. This question, the chinuch in Parshas Eikev says, the chinuch says, on Gashmius, there's two brachas d'oraisa. One is Birchas HaTorah and one is Birchas HaMozen. Benching on food, benching on Torah. Torah is the food, Ruchni is the gefood. Then you have Gashmi is the gefood. Gashmi is the gefood, the d'oraisa is to make it after you eat. Ruchni is the Mozen from Ruchni is you do before. That's the setup. He says, why? So the Chinuch says, because being that Torah is mozen to the mind could understand now that even though I don't have it right now, there's something there, and I could already think it's possible. If you do that, then you already have something in your mind that could comfort you. If someone needs something gashmi, he needs to pay, he's hungry. So it's hard for them to get soiva, to get satisfied from knowing, but I'm very, very hungry, I'm starving. But if a person is starving in their mind, the leiro of lalechem, then a person could comfort themselves even though they don't have the exact what I know it's there, it's going to come. That's what the chinuch says. Now on our level, it brings us back to this svasemes, to this moral. A person has a situation that they don't understand, a piece of Torah that they don't understand yet, Shabbos that's not working out yet in their life. Not understanding Torah is all kind. So they don't have. There's a fight that happened in the family right now. They don't have a solution. They're masking to be mivata, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the solution. A lot of times they're messed up. I don't have right now a solution, and I like, what does Hashem want from me? And so on. A lot. What a person knows, there is a or from Torah for this situation. There's a light. There's an answer for this, for right now. And I don't have that light yet. But remind yourself of you there was different situations that you didn't, and then you davened and Hashem helped. Well, if that's the case, then that's what's going to happen here also. When, I don't know. But there is an answer, because the Torah has an answer of everything and could answer every situation. And the person could be thanking already. A person could thank right now. He can make a bracha on the Torah. Now it helps us understand how a person could be thanking before they have the toiv. We mentioned how could I be thanking? I don't have the good yet. One of the answers is that a person knows that there's an answer. It doesn't have to be that I'm going to have money one nice day, or this situation is going to turn out to be the best matziv. The problem is in my mind, and the answer is in the Torah. The problem is in my mind, and the answer is in the Torah. Because if I would put the Torah, if I'd apply the Torah to this situation, it wouldn't hurt. On Birchas HaTorah, a person can make a bracha beforehand. I was talking to a fellow that this person had a tumor that they were monitoring. No, it's benign, it's a hin, it's a hair. Oh, they have to look at it, they have to keep on taking tests and what. No, don't be worried. Don't be worried. Now, this is the first half of the story. The second half of the story is that the person is saying that he's an extreme. That's what he's saying. He's saying I have a extreme netiya. I have OCD. I have a
tendency.
He's a strong OCD, and he's ragish. That means his sensitivity to doubt. That's really one of the how to explain OCD. It's a sensitivity to doubt, and whenever doubt comes up, and it's like sensory. It means they feel it and they can't. I have no day, no night. There's nothing going on. There's nothing. I'm not shaykh. I try to explain to the person that first let's identify that the Yisurim, you're having Yisurim, but the Yisurim is not the health issue. The Yisurim is the tsar from the nefesh. It's real Yisurim. That is real Yisurim. But it's in the mind, and you're having a very, very big nisayon because you can't just tell yourself not to think about it. So now, so what does the Torah say that a person is supposed to do when they find themselves in such a situation? Now there's an answer. L'moshel, in such a case, a person can't tell themselves don't think about it, but they could tell themselves what to think every time after they think about what they thought. That they could do. They could answer it. They say, every morning I get up, the first thing I think is about that. You can't imagine. Every single time if I do something, I finish doing it, immediately I'm thinking about this tzara that I have. Well, a person could every single time say, oh, now I have opportunity. After I could think, Hashem gave me this tsar, this yisurim, this mahalach machshava, so I could thank Him for the yisurim that I'm going through. So I could believe that this is good, and it's taking away avoinus from me, and it's making me biachno and all that. Like we discussed the tachas of yisurim. It's teaching us. I'm trying to bring out to finish off with this point that when the Torah will enter the person's mind, the right understanding, the right dosage, the specific answer that Torah has for a person's matziv, they will not have yisurim. A person doesn't have it yet, that thing from Torah. They don't have it yet. But the Chinuch says a person could thank Hashem without having it, because you could understand the concept that Hashem is maskim to give me that Torah. One day, if I daven for it, if I try to do what I'm supposed to, Hashem is going to enlighten me, and I'm going to understand a bit better. And I'm going to have a geula when I understand that. I'm going to be feeling so much better. The Chinuch says a person could thank on Torah beforehand. Now, just to top it up with another, if I could thank, it means that right now, it's bringing a certain order to the person. A person that doesn't know every Shabbos, he gets messed up. Reason? Because he's in public, and he doesn't do good in public. He's more, doesn't do good. And every time, he has such a, he thinks about Shabbos as a trauma for him. A person, Bemis, right now isn't that matziv. But if a person knows there's an answer, not to run away, don't run away. That one day, it's going to be helped. The problem is that if I'm going to know what the Torah's answer for this situation is, I'm going to be helped. And it's Korav Elecha, means the Torah is given to every person, and he's mechazik himself with that. He's already touching. He's already in touch with a drop of that or. He has a little bit, a bit of it already now. That he can thank Hashem, he can make a bracha. If not, he wouldn't be able to make a bracha on it. If you can make a bracha, it means there's already a bit of it. You could already hold on to it, and I'm allowed to thank Hashem. That opens up a fountain that more and more, and it goes even deeper than that. If a person holds on to that and starts thanking more and more and more, that's going to make it grow. That's going to make it grow. So many times you have issues where people, they have a big issue, so they're busy trying to fix it. If they would only work with what they do have, it would be like a transplant. I mean, they take skin where it's still good. Work with the skin that you have. Don't be busy then it grows and it fixes itself. The problem fixes itself. So just to sum it up, we were discussing Rasha B'Toyevla is a painful experience to watch. There's many answers. Chavis there's many answers. And the bottom line is a person doesn't know the real answer for this case. Doesn't know the real answer. But he knows that there is an answer. He knows there is an answer. When a person is misyage, a person is trying to be miyashev, he's trying to explain that everything makes sense. Everything makes sense, it works, it's beautiful, it's fine. I don't know the exact answer, but he learns such chavis havavos and he comforts himself. It's like learning Torah without understanding. When a person learns Torah before they understand, with the right approach, with the approach that I notice something there, I'm going to work on it. I don't have it out business up, but sometimes you have people that have a plan. They said, I'm on to something. I can't tell you the end of it, but I have something in mind. Then a person should work with it. A person gets brocha by doing that. A person gets bracha by working through these chavis halvavos and these. A person gets showered with bracha.
That's possible shortcut we also when we learn. Either we see tzaddikim, talmidei chachamim, when we learn the meisim, we see they went through a situation like mine, and they dealt with it. You see still the simcha in them. You say, I don't know what they know that enables them to do that, but through that I see that it's there. I know that it's there in the Torah that they know.
He's saying, in addition to what we said, a beautiful concept. There are people out there that went through such a kind of tzorah, and they're mamish b'simcha. They did something. They're not a machine. They must have that light. I don't have that light. Now that comforts a person that it's there, it's possible. I'm not up to that level, but you see, you don't have to fall apart because of the tzorah that you have. So a person could thank Hashem for the Torah right now, because wow, it works. Okay, it's not working by me yet, but Hashem, I'm a Yid. The Torah was given to me as well. The marshal to that, and Halacha says that a summa, a blind person, could thank Hashem for light. Why? Because other people that could see could help him not fall. So the same is with tzaddikim. They could help me. The guy screaming from the end of the tunnel, there's light in the end of the tunnel. He says, I believe you, but I'm not in the end of the tunnel. He says, yeah, but I could be the one screaming to you, there's light in the end of the tunnel. I could give you hope. I could give you that chizik even when you're not there. A person that tries to hook on to the mashu chizik that you have, and thank Hashem for that chizik. Thank Hashem that you are able to take chizik. Look, don't say you're falling apart. You didn't fall apart. You came out on Shabbos. You went to that simcha, even though it was, you went to this. In the end, you went. Let's not talk about what happened in the house beforehand. But then you went to that simcha and you kept a smile on your face. No, that means that you have a koyach. Where is it coming from? It's coming from the Torah. Thank Hashem that you had the koyach to go to that simcha. Talk about it. What you're doing is you're watering the ore from the Torah. The concept of the chinuch tells us, and that's is you should know, before you have the light, you have some of it. It's a gewaldige chizik in a sense, a person should chazah. You have some of the light before you have the light. And if that's the case, you have what to work with. And what? Birchu b'Torah tchila. Thank Hashem for that light that you have. That's going to help you. And that brings bracha. Okay.
The idea of money is a good